A city thrown into absolute chaos. People are screaming, running for their lives, because some freaky virus is turning folks into zombies left and right. The streets are half graveyard, bodies piling up, and it's like something out of a nightmare. Word spreads about an old man whispering tales of a safe haven, a mysterious, gorgeous island where you can escape this apocalypse. Desperate, a bunch of survivors hop on boats and head for this place, thinking it's their salvation. But man, they're in for a rude awakening. This island, Helgoland, looks like paradise on the outside, but it's hiding some seriously dark secrets that'll make your skin crawl. Helgoland's a tiny speck off Germany, home to 513 people scraping by as farmers. Food's so scarce that even one extra mouth could tip the whole place into starvation. To keep things in check, they've got this council running the show, making sure the population stays exactly at 513. No more, no less. They've got a creepy system too, a board with everyone's names ranked by points. Do something good, like help a neighbor, you get points. Screw up, your points drop and your name slides down the list. The head honcho, Beatrice, calls the shots on who's up and who's down. Fast forward 15 years and we meet Emily, a young woman giving birth. The whole island's freaking out because a new baby means someone's got to go. Those are the rules. Emily's dad steps up, ready to sacrifice himself to keep the balance. But then, plot twist, Emily has another kid, and now the council's in a panic. They decide to hold a vote. Whoever's at the bottom of the rankings gotta die. Talk about pressure. We shift to two buddies, Christian and Henrik, staring at the ranking board. Christian's sweating bullets, cause his name's at 511, 2 spots from the bottom. He's freaking out, telling Henrik, "No way I'm killing myself if they vote me out." Henrik, trying to calm him down, warns him about what happened to the last guy who refused. They locked him up, dragged him out to sea, and drowned him, man. Don't be stupid. After that, the scene shifted to an old woman named Alicia, who was now very old, because of which all the people now considered her very useless. The name of the 513th rank there was ATN, who was a very good person, but the common people caught him stealing medicine from the lab once, which is why he is in this situation today. After that, the scene shifted to 2 scientists named Marek and Lines. Actually, these 2 were making the same vaccine, because of which all the people were dying. On the other hand, we see a woman named Zurid, who is now going to give medicine to ATN's house. The ATN's wife is very angry with Zurid and tells her that because of you, my husband is in doghouse, due to which he will die, and as a result, we are also given the least food to eat. In response to which this Zurid tells her that it is not a problem that your husband was caught stealing medicine, due to which he is in this condition today. Lisa tells her that my husband went to steal the medicine for my suffering. Then the scene shifts to Emily, who was sleeping in the house. But at that moment, the old woman named Elisa starts to take her child away. But at that moment, Emily's eyes open, and she immediately takes her child away from the old woman, because she thinks that she might be going to kill the child, because now there is a panic in the whole city because of her. On the other hand, this Marek was stealing his vaccine from his own lab, because of which this Zurid sees him doing this. And to inform the superior, he goes straight to the shopping mall. But Beatrice tells her not to tell anyone who knows about this, because now we don't have an intelligent person like Marek around. But remember this, I will punish him one day. Now Christian and Henry can hear these 2 talking behind their backs, but then a child slips and falls in front of them, and because of which all his food is spread there. Seeing this, an idea comes to Hendrik's mind. He tells Christian that this is the real time to increase his rank, because everyone is here and in front of everyone. You are doing a good job now, because of which Christian gives his food to that child. Then Beatrice sees this thing, because of which her respect increases even more in her eyes. At that moment, Hendrik's eyes fall on ATN's wife. Henrik knew very well that the food given to these 2 was very less, because of which now this, Henrik comes to Lisa and tells her that if you want, then I can give you my own food, but in return, you have to spend a night with me, in response to which Lisa clearly refuses him. But this matter is found out by Beatrix standing behind. Then now this Beatrice is very angry with this Henrik, because this Beatrix was none other than Henry's mother. Then this scene shifts to a human who was forcibly taken into this lab and kept for experimentation. On the other hand, this Henrik goes straight to Lisa and gives her some of his food, and in return, asks her to spend the night with him again. Lisa refuses him, but this time, Henrik does not walk back anymore. He starts moving towards her, but at that moment, a siren sounds, due to which now this Henrik has to run straight towards his army, because he was an army officer, where it is seen that some people were trying to enter from outside, due to which now this soldier's leader Mia stops him from doing this. But despite that, they continue this work, due to which now this Mia shoots at them, which makes the rest of the members run away from there in fear. But this Henrik shoots 3 or 4 of them dead just for his own fun. Then the voting day comes, where the common people are now blaming ATN. That is, now he will have to give his life. But Lisa didn't want this at all, because her husband was an innocent person. Because of which, Lisa now tells everyone the truth, that her husband went to steal the medicine only for her. And she also tells everyone that this Henrik went to do bad things with her. Because of which now, the crowd get angry with Beatrice after hearing this. And under the pressure of all the people, Beatrice forces her son to confess. Because of which now this Henrik will have to flee this country, or else he will have to die. Then the scene shifts to the man kept in the lab, where it is shown that now this man has died for additional experiments. That's why Marek secretly burns his body in the fire, after which he returns to his house in despair. But his son Linus tells him that he wants to leave this country with Mia and go to the mainland. But Marek's throat goes dry after hearing this. He forbids his son to do that, but his son doesn't listen to him at all, and the next day he puts on his suit and goes out into the outside world. In fact, all the people were going to send Henrik to the mainland to be punished, but when they reach there, a soldier tells Henry to get down from here, but Henry doesn't listen to them. Because of this, a soldier comes out and starts beating him, because here it is known that this Henrik also did bad things to his sister. Now this Henrik runs away from there in fear. On the other hand, the island is shown where Beatrice went to meet a water supply engineer, because the water meter suddenly went bad. When this Beatrice was talking to the engineer, her eyes fell on a radio. She was very surprised to see it, because it was strictly forbidden to have a radio on this island. Then when the engineer fixed the water meter, he told Beatrice that I want to bring my wife to this island. But Beatrice clearly refused him in this matter. Then the soldiers are shown, who now go around the entire mainland. On the other hand, Linus was standing next to the boat, but when the soldiers did not come for a long time, he went to explore the mainland a little. At that moment, his eyes fell on a boy named Mosik. The boy showed him a vaccine and told him that I have many such vaccines. If you want, I can give you everything, but in return, you have to take me to Helgoland Island. But Linus did not agree to this, which is why he had to run away from there in fear. On the other hand, when the soldiers came towards the boat, a zombie attacked a soldier at that moment, but the other soldiers also killed him, and somehow they went to the middle of the boat. But when they reach the board, they don't see Linus. But when they look for him, the other citizens also come there in front of them. The captain sees this and tries to leave without taking Linus. But when Linus hears the sound of the board, Linus runs towards the board. But at that moment, he jumps and falls straight onto the board, and Mojik follows him onto the board, but the soldiers shoot him too. And when the soldiers look at Linus's suit, they see that his suit has burst, which makes them a little suspicious that he hasn't been infected, right? That's why they gave him an injection and made him unconscious there and then. When they returned to the island, they immediately quarantined Linus. After which now, this Marek came to meet his son Linus. Now Linus also gave him the medicine that he had given him by magic, after which Marek immediately went to test that medicine. Where he went, he saw that this vaccine was the real vaccine, seeing which he now went straight to Beatrice, where he went and asked his soldiers to go back to that ship on the mainland so that they could bring as many of those vaccines as possible to this island. But Beatrice clearly refused here because he had suffered a lot in the previous trip. On the other hand, we see a gangster named Al on the mainland, who now sees the body of the magician lying by the river, and they also see a vaccine medicine in the hands of the magician. Seeing this, he now tells his gang to start looking for as many of these medicines as possible. On the other hand, we see Henry, who was roaming around the mainland like a dog. Just then, while he was wandering around, he saw a woman named Velma, the woman who tried to help people with something. This Henry had a devilish idea. He immediately went to Velma and started to flirt with her, and impressed her so much that Velma made him her assistant now. And then she took Henrik to a theatre, which was her own house. Now he started talking a lot with her, but in the middle of the story, he kept mentioning Al's name now. When this Henrik asked about Al, she would not tell him anything. After that, whenever it was night, this Henrik killed that Velma and fled from there with all her stuff. After that, Cinder shifted to Beatrice, where he went to meet with Lisa. Where he went, he told Lisa that if you bring me all the unknown information of this city and give it to me, then I will give you a job, and in return, I will forgive your husband. After hearing this, Lisa said yes to the job. In fact, it was a plan of Beatrice. Then she was shown to Marek's lab, where Jurad was working in Linus's place. But when she opened the 2 boxes sent by Al, she saw that there were 2 people in them whom Marek would now experiment on. But before Marek could experiment on them, a soldier died. When he did a little research on him, he found that there were red spots on his body, meaning that he was now infected, and this red spot was also appearing on Linus, meaning that he was also infected, but he did not tell anyone about it. Then a council meeting is shown, where he now sees Beatrice, where Beatrice now blames Mia for the death of this soldier, and she tells him that you could not protect your gang well, as a result of which Beatrice now deducts Chad points from his account and as punishment makes him work in prison. In this council meeting, a girl named Fiona is shown, who was coughing very loudly, due to which all the townspeople are now afraid of her because they think that she may have been infected too. In fact, she had become illegally pregnant because she is not married yet. After which, this Fiona goes straight to her boyfriend Tom, where Tom tells him that I will definitely take good care of your child and you. On the other hand, we see the scene in the lab where the condition of the two patients has now become very bad due to the experiment. Seeing this, Marek tells Jurit that we have to make a vaccine very quickly because we don't have much time left. Other side, we see Al on the mainland, who now goes into the room of the Mojin, where he tells all the children on the ship that the Mojin has been killed by the people of the island. If you tell me everything about the vaccine, I will help you all survive. Hearing this, a boy named Spark agrees to help him, and with that, he puts a condition in front of him that he must be taken to the island. After some thinking, Al agrees, after which we now see Murray, who has now come to visit Mia in prison. He comes to her and says that I can end your suffering, but before that, you have to do something. You have to go back to that mainland and bring all those vaccines from that ship. But this Mia clearly refuses him. On the other hand, we see Henry on the mainland, who was now roaming around like a dog again, but a group of gangsters grab him and take him away with them and turn him upside down. But here Henry tells them all that I am Al's man, which now scares these people, and he takes him straight to Al. But as soon as he reaches there, Al doesn't recognize him because he lied. Al goes to kill him, but here Henry screams very loudly in fear and says that I am Beatrice's son. Hearing this, Al stops immediately, and now this Henrik also tells Al about Velma's death, but here Al already knew everything, that he was thrown out of the island and killed Velma. After knowing all this, Henrik is sweating because he understood that now this Al will treat him like a dog. Now he tells Al all the secret ways to enter the island in fear, after which this Al becomes happy with him and cancels the decision to kill him. On the other hand, we see an interview with a woman named Kaiso on the island, where she is the wife of that engineer who had a lot of knowledge about that vaccine. But on the other hand, the members of this council come to know that another woman has come with him who has a lot of knowledge about medicine, whose name is Daniela. After hearing all this, the council members now select Daniela in place of that Kaiso, who was also a surgeon, after which she is now called to this island, and here it is seen that two people secretly enter this island on their ship. On the other hand, this engineer is very upset to see his wife not selected and gets very angry, due to which he now goes crazy to go to that mainland, but the bridegroom refuses him to do this work because he was the only engineer on this whole island. On the other hand, that ATN gets a new job where while working he sees a bottle of wine in front of him, which he immediately gives to his boss, and his boss starts drinking that wine like crazy. And immediately after this, the engineer comes to that place with a hammer in a rage and starts breaking all the pipelines, seeing which now the boss starts climbing up the stairs to stop him. But as he is going up in a state of intoxication, his leg breaks there. Then he is taken to the hospital and he has to undergo medical treatment. But in the middle of the operation, Marek's eyes fell on Daniel, and he saw that Daniela was very scared. After the operation, he asked Daniela about this, but Daniela told him the truth, that she was not a surgeon. But Daniela told Marek that your son Linus was infected and I want to help him, but I will help only if you keep this secret from me. But Yurid heard this from behind. He came to Marek and said that I will tell everyone about your son Linus. But at that moment, Daniela killed him and made him unconscious and then threw his body into the river. Then Fiona, who was pregnant illegally, has a miscarriage due to falling. Now what Marek sees comes to him to treat her, where Fiona's mother tells him that you should not tell anyone who knows about this. I fell on your feet. Now Marek is kind and he agrees to it. On the other hand, when Beatrice goes into the lab, she sees a tooth in the wall. When she sees the tooth, she immediately recognizes that it is the tooth of Jurid. That is why she goes to Marek, and he goes to him and asks about Jurid and says that he has disappeared somewhere now. I can't find him, and I suspect you, that you have disappeared. Now, Marek very cleverly replies to him that I know you can never harm me because you need me. Hearing that, Beatrice is now forced to tell him that it is okay, that I will not tell you anything, but I will put the responsibility of this death on the engineer, after which he does the same and hangs that engineer. Then we see Etienne, who now takes the place of that boss. Now when his boss gets this news, he immediately comes to Etienne's house and starts scolding him and says that you deliberately made me drink alcohol that day so that I would not be conscious and I would be in this bad condition. But ETN does not give him any answer on this matter. Then, to punish the engineer, townspeople tied his legs and threw him into the sea. Seeing this, Marek was very hurt inside, after which Marek went straight to his son Linus, where he decided to tell him the truth, and if you knew what the truth was, your eyes would go numb. After that, we are shown a scene from 15 years ago, where Marek went to a storeroom and met Beatrice. But Marek did not talk to her much and went straight to his lab and was working on making a vaccine with his nurse. On the other hand, Beatrice took some people and took over the supermarket, and along with it, took control of all the pharmacies, after which a cameraman, a girl named Lola, records this video of him and wants to show everyone that Beatrice is the right one to be the next mayor. But Beatrice knew very well that Mark works in this pharmacy and that she could never stand in his way, which is why Beatrice gives Mark the power to do whatever he wants with all her power and will never stand against him. Hearing this, Marek accepts this offer, but the mayor of this city does not like this, which is why he sends his soldiers to arrest Beatrice. But Beatrice, being a clever woman, frames her. Then the scene shifts to Maria's wife, who was working on making the vaccine from the mainland. But at that moment, it is shown that some soldiers come there and kill him. And on the other hand, Beatrice allows 513 people to be kept on this island, along with one person. But this leader does not agree to that, because if he goes to do the work, he will have to kill half of the people. But when Beatrice threatens him a little, he agrees to do the work. And from here it is shown that all the people are injected with fake poisonous vaccines, due to which all the people were dying. Now what Marek sees is very painful, and he wants to make the original vaccine so that he can show all the people the real dark truth about Beatrice. But even after 15 years, he has not been able to make the vaccine until today. And from here again, it is shown in the present day where his son Linus dies, due to which he becomes very disappointed. And now he finally records a video so that he can frame Beatrice. But at that moment, Daniela comes and blows up that recording with a gun, because she was a member of Al's gang. And after that, Al starts planning to enter this island, and what he will do after he arrives will be shown in chapter 2, and the movie ends here. So friends, how did the explanation of the film? If you like it, then definitely like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.